Hey guys, CryptoDad here again, and welcome to my Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time live stream, the live Q&A in LA. Thanks for joining, everyone. Let's get to it. All right, welcome everyone. It's good to have you guys here. Looks like a couple of people already joined before actually started the stream. I could see him in the live chat. So hey Scott, hey Shahid, and Texel. Thanks for joining. Good to have you guys here. Before I get too much further, I'd like to pay homage to a very good friend of mine who recently passed. His name is Jerry Helfand, and I worked for Jerry for the past 6 years. Let's see if we can get over here. This is a selfie that we took last March, or this March, I guess. Jerry was 89 years old, and one of the fairest men I've ever met. I worked for him as a computer tech, and then I got more involved with him in his business and started doing his books. And he did a lot for me and gave me a steady income while I was able to start doing my YouTube thing. So I really appreciate everything he did for me. I owe him a great debt, and I just wanted to honor his passing. He passed away yesterday. So let's get moving. I'm sure Jerry would love for me to keep going on with my YouTube channel. So let's get moving. All right. So the first thing we'll look at is the market cap of the cryptocurrency market right now. Yeah. As you can see, Bitcoin is kind of holding steady around 65. I think when we spoke last week, it was hovering around 62, 63. So this is the current price, and it hasn't changed much over the last few days. It's dipped a bit. But there were some events, some market events that occurred last week that I'll talk about. And then also there are some interesting things to note about Bitcoin's volatility and its volume, I guess its trade volume. So let's dive in. I think I've got a few news stories queued up. Let's see, the biggest thing, let's see here. Yeah, here we go. So I'm not sure exactly what day this was. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. And this is a pretty mainstream news organization, Forbes. Now, of course, all of the Bitcoin news websites covered this story on the day it occurred, too. But basically what happened was, for some reason, the price of Tether started to drop. And Tether is a stable coin. And when the price of Tether went down, the price of Bitcoin shot up. And in this article, they note 6960, but from what I understand in some of the other articles, it got all the way up to 7400 on Bitfinex, because Bitfinex uses Tether almost exclusively as their stablecoin. And so Tether went down. I guess it didn't really plunge. I mean, I think it only went down about 6%, maybe 7%. But that's a lot for a stable coin. And then so that was an interesting jump for Bitcoin. It kind of got it out of that $6,200 range and got it up to its current range of around 66, 65, kind of back and forth. And then there's another story here related to that. And, there's a lot of opinions out there on the internet, and you kind of have to take them all with a grain of salt. So, there's Medium, which has a lot of great articles, but they're just normal people like you and me. Anybody can write a Medium article. So you have to remember that a lot of the articles that you might read are opinions. And the same with the big mainstream news sites. They have their own slant on things as well. They're usually pretty critical of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, as in general. And this article is about Tether, and of course his contention is that Tether is a scam, and he explains a few things why, and he's saying that Tether is the reason people use Tether is because they don't want to use U.S. dollars and follow regulations and all of that kind of stuff. I think it's kind of a biased view of Tether. So, hey, Melissa Gambroni. I'd like to talk a little bit about what Tether is and what stablecoins are, because you've been hearing a lot about them lately, especially with this Tether thing. So basically, back in a year ago, if you were on one of the big cryptocurrency exchanges, there really wasn't any way to fund those with US dollars. They were basically just straight up cryptocurrency exchanges. And so if you wanted to buy coins on the cryptocurrency exchange, you would fund them with cryptocurrency you already had. So in my case, most of the cryptocurrency I had, I bought on Coinbase. But as you know, Coinbase at that time didn't really support that many coins. It still doesn't. And so what you would do is you'd buy yourself a little Bitcoin or Ethereum and you transfer it onto these big exchanges so that you could trade. Whether you were a day trader or a holder or whatever, there really wasn't any way to fund these like Poloniex, Bittrex, Binance with cash. And so after you transferred your Bitcoin in there and say bought Ethereum or whatever, and then you wanted maybe to wait for the price to go up or down, you might have occasion to want to jump out of a certain coin and just sort of hold on to what you earned, so to speak. And so stable coins were the solution to that. And they were basically a type of coin that didn't go up and down much. There was very low volatility, not much at all. And so Tether was one of the first big ones. The idea is that, okay, I transfer a bunch of Bitcoin in there. Bitcoin goes way up, right? And I've made a profit, but I don't want it to go back down again, right? My profits. So I sell my Bitcoin for Tether. And so now I've got, if I bought $6,000 worth of Bitcoin, for instance, and then it went up to, the value of my Bitcoin went up to 8,000, I would sell it for Tether. And then Tether would be worth $8,000 approximately, pretty close. And then I could just watch Bitcoin go back down again and maybe scoop some more up. And so that was the utilitarian use of a stable coin. Or perhaps, you just made a pretty good profit on several coins and then you just decided to cash out over to Tether so that you could just like kick back and not worry about the market going down for a while, right? So that was really the use of Tether. It was kind of a workaround because you couldn't fund the account with dollars, so there was really no way to cash out of the account short of just transferring the crypto back out to its original location. Even if you took the crypto out to a wallet, even if it was safe in your wallet, if the price of Bitcoin had gone back down again, then the value of your Bitcoin would still be lower in your Bitcoin wallet. So Tether was a way to sort of like solidify your holdings and keep things stable. And there's a lot of new stable coins coming out that are supposed to serve that function. So I don't think it's a scam. I really don't think it's a scam. And then there were some earlier news stories a few months back about how people thought that there were these scholarly reports about how the price of Bitcoin was manipulated using Tether. And that wasn't a very factual, or what's the word for it? A very rigorous conclusion based on the evidence that he had. He would note that there would be large infusions of Tether, and then the price of Bitcoin would go up, and that was his proof as to why Bitcoin was being manipulated. But you can look at those same events from a different perspective, being a bunch of people decided they want to buy some Bitcoin, so they bought some Tether and then waited to pull the trigger, or they needed the Tether to get in so that they could buy the Bitcoin. And so, of course, you fund your account. They issued a lot of Tether so that people could buy it. And then, of course, that's why you buy Tether, so that you can use it to get into cryptocurrency when the price is low, and then sell later when it's high. So, what do they say? Correlation does not prove causation. Just because two things happen doesn't mean they caused each other. So, and of course, that was bad for business, or bad for the market. That was bad news that brought the price down. All right. Let's see. Anybody asking any questions? How am I going to put this code on my NES emulator? Yeah. I'm not sure. GamerBoy69, thank you for joining us. I know you've been here before. I'm not sure what an NES emulator is, to be honest with you. And that looks like hex code over there. What is an NES emulator? Let's see what that is. A Nintendo, is that what we're talking about? A Nintendo? So you're trying to play Nintendo games on, say, your computer or your phone or something, and you're trying to put in the right code. All right. That I'm not too sure about, if that's what you're asking me about. Unless it's a coin. So clarify that a bit. Maybe we can explore that. Next in the news, let's see what we got here. This is one of the interesting things I wanted to bring up, is that people are always banging on Bitcoin because of its high volatility, and that it's not a stable store of value and that sort of thing. But lately it sort of has been. Minor losses, relative calm, low volatility. All right. So the volatility index is a measurement of how volatile Bitcoin is, and it's been, I don't know if it's in here. No, I read some other articles where they were actually talking about it's the measurement of the volatility of Bitcoin. It's at its lowest point that it's been for like over a year now. So Bitcoin has calmed down. Now some people say, oh, it's because nobody's interested in Bitcoin anymore. Nobody's dumb enough to be in the market anymore. But I don't think that's the case. When Bitcoin moves, the volume goes up. But it's nice to see that, Bitcoin isn't just like spiking and falling on every bit of news. And there's been a lot of good news lately. So it's a little bit frustrating the market isn't going up. But it's also a little bit comforting to see that the market is stable right now, as far as I can see. So that's a good thing. And then they talked about, a lot of people were pointing to the low volatility of Bitcoin as a sign that people are getting tired of it. But I'm sorry, not volatility, volume. There's some, that's another measurement that we can look at. Let's see if I've got that. Here we go. Oh, well, that's what I was just talking about, volatility. But there's also the measurement of the volume, the amount of trades changing hands every day, and that has been quite kind of low lately too. But on a run up, of course, the volume will increase. I think this was the article I was talking about, where the volatility, measurement of volatility is very low. Oh, there we go. 17-month low volatility rate, recording its highest level of stability since mid 2017. So so there you go, all you Bitcoin bashers that say it's too volatile. All right, we'll see what happens. Let's see, and then got some good news. Really good news. Pardon me. That's not what I wanted to do. Here we go. What am I doing here? Okay, here we go. Fidelity. All right. You probably heard this story, and you can see that this is another Forbes story, so it's getting mainstream coverage here. Fidelity Investments has created or announced that they're creating a new division called Fidelity Digital Assets. And Fidelity Digital Assets is going to be a custodial service for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other digital assets, cryptocurrencies. And the idea is that they will be, you as a customer or investor will be able to buy Bitcoin safely by just calling your broker and saying, hey, I want 5 Bitcoin or 1 Bitcoin or 0.5 Bitcoin or whatever, and they will buy it for you and hold it for you, and it's not strictly an exchange either. They're going to have cold storage servers that are disconnected from the internet to safely store the Bitcoin to prevent people from hacking their servers. So here we're seeing a trusted financial company that is going to provide their mainstream and institutional customers, not so much retail, but institutional customers, with the ability to purchase and hold Bitcoin safely, right? Which will allow a lot more people to get into the Bitcoin market space. And they're also going to provide a trading type platform, but not a strict exchange, as I mentioned before. I guess they're going to be able to link people to exchanges so that they'll be able to buy and sell cryptocurrency. And then they're also offering like a really high level of customer service, for the 65-year-old guy who can't even use his computer very well. He can get on the phone and talk to his broker and say, hey, I want to buy some Bitcoin. I heard it's a good investment, and be able to do that safely and securely. And so this is a big deal. I mean, this is really a big deal. This is the largest financial company to ever be involved in cryptocurrency, holding services, custodial services, as they call it. So this is a big effing deal. If this had happened in any other time, like especially back last year, this kind of news would have probably doubled the price of Bitcoin. So it's really interesting that it didn't really lead to a huge run-up in Bitcoin, because this is great news for all of us long-term holders and long-term believers in the technology. Okay, K-Town Daddy, I was planning on doing some playing around with Stellar, so we'll get to that first. Let me just cover a couple more stories that I had bookmarked here. We talked about Fidelity, crypto markets, Bitcoin volatility. Here, yeah. This is just news of a particular token. You know that I am an advocate of Brave Browser, and Brave Browser uses the no, that's Twitter. Uses BAT tokens in under the hood, so to speak. So if we go over here to our settings in payments, you can see that the Brave browser natively holds BAT token. And this BAT token, they will award this BAT to you. And you can spend it by allocating it. They'll do it automatically for you. So whenever you watch content, you know, you're basically donating Brave to that particular page that you're viewing, if they accept Brave payments. And I have claimed my YouTube page. So when people view my YouTube page using the Brave browser, I get little micro payments. And it's pretty cool paradigm because Brave blocks most ads. And so anyway, the story was that BAT token, which is the utility token of the Brave browser, has seen a run-up in the last few days, based on some rumors that it will be the next coin offered by Coinbase. Coinbase added an ERC20 token last week or the week before, 0x, its first ERC20 token. And so there's speculation that BAT will be the next Coinbase supported token. And also there's some there's a program Brave browser that's entering into a beta phase. That's another piece of news that may be driving up the price of the BAT token. Not telling you to run out and buy BAT. It's just good news for an altcoin. And I've always waited for the day when the altcoins won't be tied to the price of Bitcoin. I want to see, you know, major rallies in altcoins that aren't like tag-alongs to Bitcoin. Usually when the price of Bitcoin goes up, altcoins follow. And when the price of Bitcoin goes down, altcoins follow down. So I'd like to see more of the altcoins being independent from Bitcoin, because they're not the same thing. They're different. All right. So K-Town Daddy is asking me about Stellar. Getting a Chrome extension or something like that for the Google Chrome browser instead of my Windows Edge, because I thought Chrome wasn't going to support the Ledger app anymore. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought he was asking me about Stellar. But that's okay. Yeah, so in the past, if you were using a Ledger Nano S, you had to use Chrome. And you needed to use Chrome because Chrome supported these apps, right? These are the old Ledger apps, right? But now you don't need those anymore. You don't even need a browser to view your balance anymore. What you need is the Ledger Live software, which I've got running here. We were going to talk about it a little bit. But Ledger Live, you just download it and install it, and it runs, and it supports a lot of coins natively, in that you know, this is the manager where you add and remove apps, but you can also go to the portfolio, where it will tell you the total amount of your holdings in US dollars, and you can view each cryptocurrency wallet that you have on the Ledger Nano S individually if you want to. You can look at your Vertcoin wallet, you can send and receive, and you can do all this without a browser. You don't need a browser at all. So all you need to do is go over to ledger.com and just download the Live software. You don't need to use those Chrome apps anymore. They're not necessary. You can do everything in Ledger Live now. So you just download it, install it, and then you'll set it up. Okay. So that's your solution to the Ledger Chrome apps. You don't need them anymore. And also, you might want to check out, which video is it? Let me do Ledger Live. I've done so many videos where I talk about the Ledger Nano that when I do a search for Ledger, almost all of my videos pop up. Yeah, like all of these. Let's see. I have a video on how you set up Ledger Live if you already have your Ledger up and running and you just want to start using Ledger Live. There, this one. It's got quite a few views. So this would be, I would suggest, K-Town Daddy, that you check out this video. That's the one that will walk you through the whole process from beginning to end. I download and install Ledger Live, and then I add cryptocurrency, and then set up accounts, and all that stuff. I've done a few of that stuff here too as well. So that would be the way. Let's see. Safety is a relative term. Safe for who? Oh, he did mention Stellar. Okay. So if you have Stellar on your Ledger Nano S on the app, let me put my pin in here. All right, so I have it on here. So, you just go into the manager, enter your PIN, and then you just click install, and you can install the Stellar app. Once you've done that, you can't view it in accounts, right? So if I go over here to accounts and choose Stellar, you'll notice there is no Stellar account. You cannot view your Stellar balance using Ledger Live account interface. All you can do is install the app on the Ledger, right? And so once you've done that, you don't need the Ledger app anymore. So you would just go over to, I like to use Stellar Wallet. I'll just type it in here. You go to the Stellar website. And this is the simplest way to view your Stellar balance, right? You just go over to the Stellar Wallet page, and there's one that supports Ledger. You just click the Ledger, and then use with account viewer, and then you'll see it's like not active right now. You have to enter the app on your Ledger. So like you go over here, right, and you go to Stellar. It's kind of blurry. And then you hit both buttons, and then when you're in the Stellar app, you'll see that this button becomes active, and you can sign in, and you can see your Stellar balance up here, and you can see your Stellar public key, which will allow you, if you bought Stellar on an exchange, that would be the address you would send it to. Or if you wanted someone to send you Stellar, they could send it to you at this address. That's your public address. Your private key for this Stellar wallet is stored on the Ledger Nano S. The Ledger Nano S is the device that stores all these private keys. You never see them. They're just stored on the device, and then you have access to them by clicking these buttons, right? So whenever I decide I want to send some Stellar out, then I would put in a recipient's address, choose an amount to send, and then when I clicked send, it would ask me to confirm on the device. That's how it works. So Stellar is accessed in its a separate wallet from Ledger Live. So that's how Stellar works on the Ledger. And then I was going to show you guys a little bit. Let's see. While we're on the subject of Stellar, I think I did a video on this not too long ago, but there is a decentralized exchange for Stellar called Stellar Port, and you can log into that with your Ledger Nano S, right? So you just click login method, Ledger hardware wallet, and then I'm in the Ledger. I've got the Stellar app active, and then I just hit connect Ledger, and there you see that same public address, right? The one we just looked at. That's the public address of this Stellar wallet. We'll just click login, and boom. You can see that I am able to log into this interface and trade on this decentralized exchange for native Stellar tokens and some other types of tokens. So when you'll notice I go to balance over here, you'll see that I have some Stellar-based tokens that I've purchased on this exchange, on some other exchanges, and they sort of live within my Stellar address in the same sense that an ERC20 token, if you hold ERC20 tokens, they all reside on one Ethereum address, right? And then your Ethereum pays the transfer fees back and forth. So this is very similar to the way Ether Delta works, the decentralized Ethereum exchanges. So this is called Stellar Port, and there's some others that you can use, and it's pretty cool. You know, you can go over to the exchange, and let's say, okay, let's say I want to buy some Mobius, right? Looks like Mobius is up, so it may not be the best time to buy Mobius, but that's okay. So I'll just click on that, and you see I've got Mobius Network and Stellar. And how much do I want to buy? Let's say I just want to buy 100 Stellars worth, right? So we can go down here. This is the order book, right? These, I'm not sure what this red is. I know that they're buys, right? So if I want to buy some Mobius, I would just go down here and click on the lowest price I can find down here. Or can I? Well, is everything okay here? Oh, you got to put a price in. Usually you can go to these and it will pull up. Well, maybe it's not functioning tonight. These things always screw me when it's live, huh? All right. Offering Mobi for XLM, okay. Offering XLM for Mobi. Yeah, usually when you click on these, you'll get like an interface will pop up. Let's just try. Let's say I want to buy 100 Stellar and place my buy. I guess it's just going to give me market price, because I don't know why I can't click on these market. Let's see what happens. Okay, would you like to bid 100 XLM native? Let's try maybe limit. See if that. Oh yeah. Oh, see there, it's filling it in, right? So if I go down here, you'll see that it fills in the lowest price that I can find, right? And that's going to give me 893 Mobi for my 100 XLM. So if I place that, and hopefully I'm getting the best price, it wants me to confirm, right? And if I hit confirm, then it wants me to sign the transaction with my wallet. And in this case, I have this Ledger wallet attached. So I'm just going to click that for Ledger, and then click sign, and then I confirm on the device, right? That's the private key stored on the hardware. That's the security there. So I hit that check. That allows the transaction to go through, and the funds to go out of my wallet, right? So that's what's going on with the Ledger Nano S. Your wallet there's a private key that controls your wallet that's stored on the ledger, and then you can use the ledger interface to execute trades or send cryptocurrency, right? So let's check it out. Let's see what I got over here. My boy's having a meltdown.
I'm trying to put the crayons in the right order. Okay.
All right. It looks like I got it. I got 23. Like, I can look at history here. And it says that I bought this 589 Mobi at, it was 0.11 XLM at the time. And I guess I went down $100, or I'm sorry, 100 XLM. If I look at my XLM balance, it was 39.81, I guess, and now it's like 38.81. So we just executed a trade, and those Mobius tokens live in the same address as my Stellar balance, right? So it's pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys, for retweeting all this stuff. Bubba. Man, he's just going nuts on all my Stellar videos. Nice. I'm getting a lot of exposure tonight. So, it's fun to play around with that kind of stuff, right?
You need to help me then. If you're not helping me, then I cannot do it.
And there's more than one Stellar exchange that's out there. There's a really a fairly new one that is let's see here, Stellar X, right? Here we go, Stellar X. Now Stellar X is a little bit, you need to put in an email for this one. Alright. So in this one you need to sign in with an email address. So it has to be your email address, I guess. And it's very similar. You can go to the wallet and it shows the same tokens and the same balances that I just saw on the other one. And I can use the market to buy and sell just like that, right? And you can see the interesting thing is that this is a really new market, and a lot of these native coins are like not in the news and not listed anywhere else. So this is a good place if you're smart and if you've done your research and you're interested in a particular coin that has just finished its ICO, is it ICO? Yeah. Actually, I think some ICOs are hosted on Stellar X. But in order to participate in the ICO, generally you have to interface with that company personally and provide documentation that you're not in the US, that kind of thing. But after the initial coin offering, before the coin gets listed on any major exchanges, you can usually scoop it up on the cheap on the Stellar, the decentralized Stellar exchanges. The same with Tron, and the same with Ethereum. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the Ethereum decentralized exchanges where you can buy ERC20 tokens. So this is kind of an interesting place if you're, sharp, to pick up a coin cheap before it gets listed on major exchanges. Once they get listed on the big exchanges, the price is going to go up, and you may have missed your opportunity to get in at the ground level. But having said that, these could all just be worthless coins. We don't know that. So do your research, right? And don't spend more than you can afford to lose. That's my axiom. couldn't get the button to go active. Thanks. If you try to sign in to the Stellar wallet with your Ledger Nano S, right? And then you go into the Ledger and it's not blue and you're in the Stellar app, you could always try disconnecting and reconnecting the Ledger and to get the button to go blue if it doesn't, because sometimes it's a bit quirky. But as you saw, usually as long as you're in the Stellar app, it should the button should become active for you. Okay, so you're locked out of Binance, but your backup keys won't work. Won't accept the 2FA codes. Any help would be helpful. Okay, generally, what you need to do with the backup code is, let's say, for example, let's do a screen share on my phone. No, I guess I need to launch this thing. So let's assume that you're trying to get into your Binance account and you have a backup code, right? But you can't enter it into Binance proper, right? So let's say, okay, let's go into Binance. Oops. Yeah, Binance isn't working on. Brave browser is, I love Brave, but there are a few sites that just are wonky. It was working before. I don't know what happened. But anyway, I'm not going to troubleshoot that. Here we go. It works fine in Chrome. So I'm going to get in on Chrome. All right, I'll put in my two-factor authentication. Of course, if you can't get this, well, wait a minute. We might be able to still get you in. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself in here. Oops. All right. So I'm in right now. But let's say that, I don't know, you were probably trying to put that backup code in that window that was asking you for your two-factor authentication code. And that's not how the backup code works. The way the backup code works is you need to, if I can get this thing going here. Come on, guys. Come on. You can do it. There we go. All right. So let's say, just for the sake of argument, that you have a backup code. I'm just going to create a text file here real quick. Binance. Of course, I misspelled it. And you've got a backup code, whatever it was. And I think they usually look like XVGBNYXA, something like that, right? So what you need to do is open up your Google Authenticator, and somehow you lost your code or your phone or whatever you did. So you got your new phone or your Authenticator, and so what you need to do to get that two-factor authentication to get back into your Binance, you need to take this code right here, and you need to use it to create a new account in your Google Authenticator. So you hit the plus, right? You see that plus up there. Let me show you that again. Up there at the top, you've got that plus, right? You're going to tap that plus, and then instead of scan barcode, which is what you usually do, you're going to choose manual entry, right? And then here you would manually put in Binance test. Or you could put in the email address that you've been using. Me at Gmail, right? Whatever you can put whatever you want here, right? But you need to make it so that you know what it is. Oh, come on. This is just a mnemonic reminder explaining to you what this entry is. And then down here, boom, that's where you put that key, right? You put that key in there, and after you've entered that key, whatever it is, blah, 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 you hit done, and then you hit that plus. If that is a valid backup key, it will create a key for you. And then you'll have a new account in your list at the bottom that says, you know, my email at Gmail, Binance, and it'll be generating new codes for you. And those are the codes that you want to use to get into your Binance. Hopefully that's what was missing. I think maybe you were trying to enter that code in the window where it was asking you for the temporary code. That login window is asking you for a temporary code that gets generated. See that 6-digit code. And you were probably trying to enter that that 12-digit letter code. So that's how you create a brand new account in Google Authenticator. I hope that was your problem. If that's not your problem, then you need to call Binance directly and get a hold of their tech support. And most likely you won't be able to call them. You're going to have to send them a support ticket and tell them, hey, I can't get into my Binance account. I need help. I've got two-factor authentication and I lost my phone. And then they will help you. They'll probably disable the account for like 7 days while they verify your information, and they'll deactivate the two-factor authentication for you, and then eventually you'll get access back to the account. You'll be able to get back into the account with no two-factor authentication. And then at that point, once you've regained control of the account, you'll be able to reactivate two-factor authentication with your new phone or your new code, or however you want to do it. And then you would do it the same way you did before, where you use your phone to scan in the code. But that's it. If you lose your phone or your code and you can't get into your accounts, you basically are forced to go through their tech support department. That's the long and short of it. Let's see. No, I did not hear that Redcoin would start allowing people to tip. I think I heard something along. You're right. I had heard something that I guess they're going to introduce a mechanism into Brave browser that would allow for tipping during like a live stream. Like right now, you would be able to go to my channel and just give me a tip, an outright tip using Redcoin. Yes, I had heard that, and I think I was going to look into Redcoin, and I never did. Bad CryptoDad. And there is Authy. Authy is also an alternative to Google Authenticator. And Authy actually has a cloud-based type account that will back up your codes, so that if you lose your device, you have cloud access. So that's another alternative to Google Authenticator. I think most sites that support two-factor authentication support either of those, Google Authenticator and or Authy, and then there are some that only support one or the other. So, depending on your needs and what you're trying to accomplish, you might want to use Authy exclusively, or Google Authenticator exclusively, or a combination of both. It's up, depending on your needs. I use Authy because I have to for my Uphold wallet. Uphold is the wallet that Brave uses to distribute the BAT tokens to the content creators. So I do use Authy as well. But most of my accounts are Google Authenticator. So you did that, you did the backup, and then the new temp codes didn't work. I'm sorry to hear that, Juma. I really am. No, not that I am aware of. There's no way to call these guys. It's a Chinese company. I think their servers are in Hong Kong now, or maybe in Malta. I'm not sure. But the only way to get a hold of these guys is through their tech support department. And in your case, you can't even get into the here, submit request, right? So you're going to have to submit a request to their tech support department. Let's see if they have your, here it is right there, help with Google Auth, right? So there, you're going to tell them you want to disable it, and then they're going to give you explicit instructions on how you go about doing that. So if your backup code worked and your new temp codes are not working, then you're going to have to go through this process, right? And you might have to manually put in your email and subject and give them a description and whatever evidence you can supply to prove that you are the owner of that account. That's basically what you have to do to regain control of the account. You'll want to ask them to disable the two-factor authentication so that you can just log in with your username and password. You've got a couple of crypto accounts on your old Microsoft phone using Authenticator Plus. Don't know how to transfer them over to the new phone. Okay, Polly, so I've got some videos on how you do that. Essentially, what you need to do is if you still have access to the old phone and you're using it to access those accounts, what you need to do is use the phone to get into the account and then go to security and disable two-factor authentication. And then they're going to ask you for the code from the old phone in order to disable. Once you've entered the code the second time, it will disable two-factor authentication. And then, once you've done that, you'll use the new phone to re-enable two-factor authentication. So let's see if I can. It's a little bit of a process, but that's really, it's not really, and I got into a big discussion with one of my commenters about, he was like, hey, the video says, whoops. I hope I spelled that right. Probably not. Authenticator is not a word. Yeah, here it is. It's actually a very popular video. A lot of people watch this video. And so basically in the video I show you, I say, okay, you got yourself a new phone, but you still have access to the old phone. So here's what you do. You use the old phone to get into the account and disable 2FA, and then you use the new phone to re-enable 2FA, and now you've got codes on the new phone. And I got into a big discussion with someone. He goes, that's not moving. He goes, you just basically recreated the account on the new phone. And I was like, well, yeah, but you were using the old phone and generating temp codes that worked, and then you put that same account on the new phone to generate temp codes that now work. So for all intents and purposes, you moved your authenticator code from the old phone to the new phone. He's like, no, that's not moving. No, but it was fun. You know, we get into language and that kind of stuff. I don't know. Anyway. And another thing that frustrates me about cryptocurrency is when I'm typing comments and there are no spell checkers for a lot of the words we use, right? Cryptocurrency. I mean, come on, man. Cryptocurrency is not a word. If you type out cryptocurrency, it tells you it's misspelled, right? Your spell checker will underline it with red. You know, so all of these terms that we use, like authenticator, that's not a word either. It always tells me it's misspelled. It's just kind of crazy. You know, we're dealing with such a new technology that even the spell checker doesn't know what these words are yet. Okay, Frankster wants to know if you can have 2FA on 2 different phones. You can, but they would have to access different accounts. Because for most 2FA accounts, as soon as you activate a new phone, the codes on the old phone become unusable, right? So if I go to Binance and if I go to Binance and I set up my phone, I'm going to turn off screen sharing here. If I go to Binance and I set up a new phone with a Google Authenticator code, and then I do it again with a different phone, it will the new phone will work, but the old phone will not work anymore. The codes that are on the old phone, and that's basically what I show you in that video where you move accounts over. When after you've set up the new phone, the codes on the old phone will still be there. It'll still be generating codes, but they won't work anymore. So you could use multiple phones to access multiple accounts, but each account only supports one two-factor authentication device at a time, right? So you can't just keep the codes. You can't like put a bunch of codes on a phone and keep it in a safe in case you lose your phone. That would be nice, but it just won't work that way. Yeah, only one phone per 2. Spell check CryptoDad is a Halloween term. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, CryptoDad. I don't think CryptoDad works either. I think that's always misspelled when I type in comments. Oh, we can look here, right? Yeah. CryptoDad is a misspell. Yeah, a lot of terms that I use when I'm responding to comments are marked as being misspelled. All right. So I was going to screw around with a little bit of Tron, if you guys wanted to check that one out. Tron Scan is a software that you can download. If you go to the Tron website, they used to have it. Where's Tron? Yeah, if you go to the Tron website, they used to have it as a download, but they don't anymore. They have it as a web-based piece of software, so you can run the wallet straight in your web browser, but you can also download it as standalone software. So if you just go Tron Scan software, if you Google that, you'll find this GitHub release where they've got the latest version of the Tron Scan software, and it has ledger support, right? So I have it here. Let's see, which one is it? I don't think it's 1.1, but it doesn't have to be the latest version. 1.0, so there is a newer version of it. So let's go ahead and run it because it's independent of let's just put it in downloads. Well, no, let's put it in Tron. Let's keep things organized. All right. And let's check it out here. All right. So this one is going to be old. All right. And then I'm going to decompress this guy. And we'll go into the new one. And And you can see here, oh, looks like the same version. Whatever, let's just launch it. All right, and so it sees the old wallet the last time I connected, but you can't do anything. So I'm just going to sign out. I'm going to go into my ledger. I'm going to enter my PIN.
Whoa.
All right, and I'm going to exit out of that Stellar app. All right. And then I'm going to go over to the Tron app. Right? There it is. Right, let's go in there. All right. Now I set this up earlier. And now we're going to open wallet. Now you could also create wallet if you've never done it before. You would do the same thing. You would install the Tron app. You would enter your PIN and enter the Tron app on the ledger, and then you would create a wallet, and they give you an option to use the ledger as your private key storage, right? So, but I already have it on there, so I can choose Open Wallet, and I choose Ledger, right? And then there's the public Tron address, and we'll choose Open Wallet, right? And so here I am in the Tron Scan software, and like I mentioned, you can do this right from their website too, in the web browser. I prefer to do it with the standalone software. And you can see my Tron balance, right? And then also up here in Wallet, I can send and receive Tron. So if I have Tron that I bought on a cryptocurrency exchange, I can send it over here, and I can receive. So, but receive is up here anyway, right? I can just copy. Okay, so that's the public address of this wallet, right? Which is the same if I choose receive, right? So now you can see my Tron address. You're welcome to send me some Tron. But I would take that over to an exchange and send it to myself, right? And then I would have, a balance of Tron in this wallet. Now, the interesting thing is, if you look down here, there's a whole bunch of coins on the Tron network, too, that you can buy and sell. But you can't yet, right? You can't sell any of these Tron coins. There is no decentralized exchange yet for Tron. But this wallet, people can send them to you, and you can buy them with your Tron, right? So you can buy tokens, Tron, native Tron tokens, but you can't sell them for Tron, right? It's a one-way street until they get that DAX active. And the company that's going to do that is TronWatch. Let's see, TronWatch. Here we go. So TronWatch is a company that makes wallets for Tron, pretty good wallets. And then they have several products. The TronWatch desktop wallet, which I'm not using at the moment, but I have it. A browser extension for Tron, and a mobile wallet for Tron, which they say iOS, but I haven't been able to find it on iOS. I'm assuming that the Android, well, I know the Android version works. I have it on my tablet. And then down here, they got this TronWatch DEX, which is the decentralized exchange that will allow us to buy and sell Tron tokens. But let me just point out here that I've got some Tron tokens that were sent to me. Like, this says Bitcoin, right? It's not really Bitcoin. Anybody can make a Tron token. So you have to be careful. See, they got the McDonald's coin, right? The IPFS coin. These are just kind of spam coins. But that you can buy, this is the TronWatch market token, which came out fairly recently, and I actually used my Tron to buy some of this. And the reason I did was because I was aware of it, and I knew that it was a decent coin. So if we go over here, you can follow the link here to their website. And what happened? Did I go there? Yeah, there we go. So this is Tron Watch Market, and it's basically an ICO that lives on the Tron network, which is kind of cool. Tron being a token very similar to Ethereum and EOS that has started its own blockchain, made quite a bit of progress, and you can buy their token using Tron right now, but you can't sell it. All right, so as you can see, I bought a little bit of it. And let's see, we got some Tron, right? Why don't we buy a little more? Just for the heck of it, so you can see it happening. So we need to go over here to tokens and participate, right? We want to participate in these ICOs. And look, some of these are all full already. But be very careful. You have no idea what these things are. You do your due diligence, right? I'm going to go over to the next page. I believe it's on this page. Tron Watch Market. If I can find it. What did I hit? Last page? Oh, no. Here we go. There's Tron Watch. Now, that's the company that makes those wallets, right? But we want the Tron Watch Market. This one, right here. Right? So I want to participate. So I'm going to hit participate, and it wants to know how many I want to buy, right? Let's see. When I put it in there, let's say I want to buy 1,000, right? That's how much Tron I want to spend, right? How much tokens do you want to buy? Price 1. Oh, it's more. It used to be half a Tron. It used to be, when I bought some a week or two ago, it was 0.5 Tron. Now it's gone up to a whole Tron. That must be a good thing, right? I guess. So I'll just buy 100, right? I'm not going to spend a bunch of my Tron on this token. We put that in there. We hit the check, and it asks me if I'm sure. And I say, yeah, I'm sure. And then it wants me to confirm on the ledger, right? The ledger is going to sign the transaction with it, the private key, and boom, there you go. I just bought some more. I just bought $100 or 100 worth of Tron. Now keep in mind, TRX Tron is only 2 cents right now, so it's not like I'm spending a lot of money. But when I bought the original, let's go back to account here. When I bought the original Tron Watch Market tokens, they were half a Tron, and now they've doubled in value, so to speak. So they were worth a penny each, and now they're worth 2 cents each. And let's see, is that it? Oh, this is something else. Let's see if I can get... I wanted to see exactly, I'm sorry. I just go to my account and my transactions, and let's see if I can see here we go, transactions. Okay. There, 1 minute ago, I bought, is it going to give me, this wallet is a bit wonky. All right, so it tells me my current balance. Let's see. It's hard to see what I'm doing here. Let's go back to transactions. So 2 minutes ago, I made this transaction, but it doesn't give me a whole lot of information about it. It would be nice if it told me exactly how many I bought, but that's no big deal. I can go back over here and look at the account and see that I have more than I did before. At least I think I did. Maybe they aren't quite here yet, right? Maybe we might have to. It looks like nothing happened, but it may take a bit for it to show up. So anyway, that was fun. Am I from Canada? No, I'm from Indiana originally, and I've been in California for like 20 years. So Scott Lee bought some crypto for his mom. A happy Halloween, Scott. Thanks for coming by. Shahid wants to know if I would mind taking a look at Nexo. All right, so if we want to look at a coin, the first thing that I usually do is I check. Let's see where we are here. This opened in a new window. What we want to do is we'll check on a coin, and we'll do our semi due diligence, right? Our quick due diligence. The first thing we'll check on crypto market cap is the ticker symbol. She gave me Nexo. We'll see if it exists, right? All right, so it does. All right, so that's our first good news, that it exists. All right, and then we're going to look at its current price, and it's 10 cents. And then so we know that it's being traded. We know that it's relatively inexpensive, but also relatively valuable, right? It's worth a penny. There's a lot of cryptos out there that are worth less than a penny. I'm sorry, this one's 10 cents. So there's a lot of cryptos out there that are even worth less than that. And it's 101, which is not bad. There's thousands of cryptocurrency. And so Nexo is at market cap 101. So that's pretty good. That's not too shabby, right? So my usual advice is try to stick with the top 20. But if you're diligent and you've done your research and you have good reason to think that this is a good project, a good coin, it's going to be around a while, it's going to go up in value, all that stuff, then and you want to grab some on the cheap, then more power to you. But always make sure you do your research. Always make sure you never spend money that you can't afford to lose, right? Don't take next month's rent and use it to buy crypto, rent money, and use it to buy crypto thinking that it's going to double in value before the end of the month when your rent is due, right? That's not a good strategy at all. Takes, pay all your bills, and then whatever money you have left after you paid all your bills before your next paycheck, tell yourself, well, I won't go out to eat maybe a few times. I'll skip the evenings out, and I'll take this extra 100 or 200, and I'll use it to buy cryptocurrency. But I'm not going to expect anything back anytime soon. And if that money gets lost, if the coin goes to zero, c'est la vie, I can afford it because I made the decision to invest money that I was totally willing to lose, right? If you're planning on getting rich and you're taking all your money and you're throwing it at cryptocurrency, that's a recipe for failure, right? It's like buying lotto tickets, right? You might win, but most likely it's not a good strategy. Unless, of course, you've done your research and you're totally sure that you think this thing's going up. But even then, it could not pan out, right? So now that we've looked at the coin, let's maybe check its chart and see how long it's been around, right? So we've got all here, and we can see that this coin hasn't been around more than a year. It just came out. The total, the all chart only goes back to like April, May of this year, right? So it's a relatively new coin. So I tend to favor coins that have been around a while, but that's not a tried and true method for evaluating a coin. There are coins that have been around a while that that aren't that great, right? Got some fire trucks going by. So take what you will about how long the coin's been around. Relatively new coin, and then you want to check out their website. Right? You want to take a look at this website and see if it looks professional. Find out more about what it is. Do some due diligence. I'm not a big fan of crypto-backed loans. If you remember, there was a company called BitConnect that, they were doing basically the same thing. They were saying, buy BitConnect and loan us the money. I believe I forget how it worked. But basically you were loaning them the money, and they were using your money to invest in something, and then you were going to get like these steady payouts, right? And that's really how Ponzi schemes work. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad idea. It could be a great idea, it could be a great coin, but I'm not a big fan of these we're going to loan you money. Now, this may be fine. This may be the opposite, where they're loaning other people money and you're just investing in the coin itself. And this could be a solid business plan. That's one of the biggest businesses in the world, is the way banks work. They loan people money and they make a killing. So that this coin might be doing the same thing. So, okay, but I don't know. So personally, I'm a little leery of anything where you're lending them money, or they're lending you money. I don't know. But like I said, I've never seen this coin before in my life. I'm just looking at it. It looks like they're going to loan me cryptocurrency. But once again, we're talking about cryptocurrency. Suppose you took out a loan in January of 2018, and you took out a loan of like 100 Ethereum, and when you did that, it was worth $10,000, and then the price of Ethereum crashed, and now your Ethereum isn't worth what it was, and somebody has to what happens when the loan becomes due. So if your cryptocurrency goes up, great. But if it doesn't, you're on the hook, right? So I don't know. But that's trading. That's what people do. They take chances. So and they've got an explanation of what it is they do and how they do it. And usually on a website, you should be able to find the people that are involved in it, and you can read a little bit about each person in the company and how much experience they have and that kind of stuff. And here we've got some history of what they've done in the past, and you would want to cross-check all of this, right? You would want to check all these dates and events and cross-check them on other websites to make sure that they're valid, right? That these actually did occur. So you always want to cross-reference any facts that may be given to you on a website, because anybody can create a website and just throw out a bunch of facts, and so you always want to double-check, cross-reference, right? So I can't give my recommendation. Not that my recommendation really matters. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't really give advice on what coins to buy. I've been kind of avoiding talking about particular coins over the last couple of months and kind of sticking to the news and how to do transactions, because that's really more about what my channel is about, how to. But so that would be how I would approach a coin that I never heard of before. And like I said, Jesus, my thing is to stick with the higher cap coins, but the real money is to be made in the low cap coins if you find one that you can put your money into. Edgar is back, yay! How would you approach an older audience like you to invest in crypto? Well, you know, a lot of my videos are geared towards people that are just beginning in this cryptocurrency space. So, you know, my most popular video is how to buy Bitcoin on Coinbase. You know, most people that aren't familiar with cryptocurrency, even if they're tech savvy, really have no idea, you know, how to even get a hold of Bitcoin. And so, you know, I explain, you go to Coinbase and you set up an account and you connect your credit card and you use it to buy Bitcoin. And then I show you how to move that Bitcoin somewhere safe, right? There are a lot of articles that bash Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, saying that they're not reliable and people are getting scammed and people are losing their coins. But I read a few of those articles. There was a recent one, and you know, they were people that were investing in kind of shaky things, and they weren't like buying Bitcoin on Coinbase and storing it in their own secure wallet. Those kind of people aren't like getting scammed and losing money. It's people that are getting tricked into these scam type things, like a fake ICO or an online seed generator, where that nobody, like the first article that I read, and I don't know where it is, but the first thing they said in the article was somebody cracked their private key, and that's not what happened. They made it sound like it was easy to crack private keys, and they're not. It's a brute force crack a private key for a cryptocurrency wallet would take on the order of, you know, hundreds, thousands of years using the latest computers. So nobody brute force cracked their private key. What they did was they used an online generator to generate their private key, and the people that were running that online generator website were scammers. So they were generating the private key and then keeping a record of all the private keys they were generating for people, and then all they had to do was use that private key that they had taken note of to clean out that person's wallet. So that's not cracking someone's key. That's just scamming them. But cryptocurrency, if done properly, is very secure. That's the whole idea, right? That's the entire idea of cryptocurrency, is that you're storing it in your own wallet and you're keeping it safe, and no one can steal it from you because no one knows your private key. You know, keeping your money in a bank. So now, you think about the bank. No one's gonna, if someone robs the bank and takes the cash out of the bank, your money's insured. What the worst case scenario of a bank is, the bank goes bankrupt, right? Which happened in 2008. We had some bank accounts, we had some big banks, some big brokerage firms that went belly up, and investors lost their money. That's insecure, right? Or, you know, there's a bank run, there's a financial scare, and people all start lining up to get their money out of the bank, and the bank closes their doors and says, you know, we can't, you know, this bank run just made the bank go belly up. That's what's insecure about banks, and that's what makes cryptocurrency secure, is that once you have Bitcoin and you control it with your own private key, then that's your Bitcoin. And if I take my money and put it in the bank, that's not my money anymore. That's the bank's money. They can do whatever they want with that money. They can lend it out to, you know, a nice lady that wants to buy a new car, or they can throw it in some they call it a risky default swap contract. They can do whatever they want with my money. It's because it's not my money anymore. It's their money. The only thing that I get for my money, right? If I put my money in the bank, the only thing I get from the bank is a promise to pay it back if I ask for it. That's all I get. The money is theirs. So there's just a little contract that says if Rex comes to the bank and asks for his $100, we're going to give it back to him, which is all fine and dandy if the bank is solvent. But if the bank goes belly up, then they'll say, ooh, you know that little promise we gave you about giving you your money back? We can't honor it anymore because we just, you know, went out of business, right? So that's why cryptocurrency is much more secure than banks. You have video on using a stop loss on Binance? No, unfortunately, I don't have a video on doing stop loss trades. I'm not very good on those kind of things, but I will recommend. Whoops. See if I can find him here. Whoa, come on, Rex. There we go. You should check out Crypto Bitcoin Chris channel. I don't know if he does live streams or not, but he might. He does videos almost every day, and he talks about cryptocurrency. So I would recommend talking to Crypto Bitcoin Chris about that, and he will probably be able to help you answer that. Now he has a YouTube channel. He's got a Patreon page, and I know on his Patreon page he does a lot of one-on-one and small group workshops. So if he can't answer that question directly for you in the comment sections of one of his videos, then you might want to head over to Patreon and sign up and become one of his patrons and get like private access to him, and he'd be able to walk you through stuff like that. So that would be my recommendation if you're into heavy duty trading, because he's more of a trader advisor and a really nice, diligent, hardworking guy who knows his stuff. So that would be my recommendation. I was talking earlier about Nexo, and the question is it supported on Ledger Live? So let's check it out. Let's see what I did here. Something went wrong. I think I just need to enter my PIN again here. So give me a second on that. Let's put our PIN in. Alright, so I'm going to get out of the Tron app. Oops. Alright. And let's go into the Ledger Manager and see if this Nexo coin is supported on the Ledger Manager. So the apps are arranged by market cap. So we know Nexo should be down a bit. We've got Nano. Nimiq. Ripple. I don't know why Ripple's down there so far. So I don't see the Nexo coin on here. So I don't believe that Nexo is supported by, or we could have just searched for it, right? So no. Nexo is not supported on the Ledger as of right now. And I'm running the latest version of Ledger Live. I keep it pretty up to date. All right. Oh, okay. So you know Crypto Bitcoin Chris. I talked to Bitcoin Chris on the phone for about 2 hours one night, just kind of comparing notes about how we were running our channels, and his work ethic and my work ethic are different, right? I maybe post 1 or 2 videos a week, and he does one every day, right? He comes home from work, he does his research, he does his videos. He's a very hardworking guy. All right, guys. So I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a thing or two. I hope you gained a little confidence in using cryptocurrency and thinking about cryptocurrency. Of course, join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for my live stream, the live Q&A at LA, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Friday night. Hope to see you again next time. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever you post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me, and hope to see you again soon.